This is Football Friday, sponsored by Trusted Choice, Dakota Bank, South Dakota Department of Health, and South Dakota State University.
Football Friday on Dakota News Now.
That's the second week in a row we've had two cheerleaders. Those two cheerleaders had a lot to cheer about tonight. They're from Warner. They played at Hamlin. We'll have that later in the show. Welcome to another edition of Football Friday. I'm Mark Ovenden.
And I'm Zach Borg. We've got highlights from South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa tonight as we are well beyond the halfway point of the season. We're already wrapping up September.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like football weather out there tonight. We start our coverage in Class 11 AAA. Best game of the night, at least on paper. We head to the MAC where number 2 O'Gorman hosting number 3 Jefferson. It's the first time I can remember since my kids played that I stayed all the way and shot the whole game. A scoreless game. Thomas Heiberger with a sack until the final 23 seconds in the half when Maverick Jones takes the direct snap and scores. It's 7-0, and the coaches are pretty happy about that. But Jefferson takes the second half kickoff and marches downfield, and it's Heiberger with the sneak. He scores, and it's 7-7.
Told us in the athlete of the week he played quarterback
until the final minute. Here you go, your game winner, Hayden Gross to Ryland Satter. He's a touchdown machine. 14-7 was your final in a game that was much closer and much more lower scoring than I ever would have imagined.
The top-ranked Lincoln Patriots hosting the Raiders of Rapid City Stevens at Howard Wood Field in the second game of a doubleheader. This one was every bit as high scoring as we expected. First quarter, Tate Shaver finds Jack Smith like peanut butter and jelly. That combo is always good. 21-0 Lincoln on top. Next drive for the Patriots, Tate Shaver to Jack Smith. Stop if you've heard that one before. He probably should have gotten a penalty for that too. It's 28-0 after the 16-yard score. Still in the first, somebody other than those two getting into the end zone. It's Trevin Hodge, who just committed the other day to USF. 10-yard score, actually USD, my mistake. All Lincoln in this one, they win 65-6.
I still like the powder blue uniforms better. All right, fourth-ranked Harrisburg back home to take on the Washington Warriors, looking to improve to 4-2. Levi Danielson takes the handoff, and he is in for the touchdown. It's 6-0 in favor of the Tigers. Same score, second quarter. Watch Tommy Hoffman. He's going to throw the ball downfield, and it gets tipped. And look where it ends up. Yeah, a great catch there by Owen Warren. It ends up leading to a 1-yard touchdown.
It's say he had it all along in the box score.
Warriors. Right before halftime, though, Harrisburg on the bomb. Sam Knuth to Titan Tryon for the touchdown. That makes it 13-7 at halftime. This was a dandy. Again, your final. It came right down to the end, 27-24 in favor of the Tigers.
You get the close ones, I get the blowouts. The first game at Howard Wood Field was Roosevelt against Rapid City Central. Rough Riders moving and shaking on their opening drive. Talon Steef gets the call, finds the edge for a 26-yard touchdown, 7-0. Roosevelt on top. They get the ball back after an interception, and they air it out. Tayden Nave with the Jets, and he gets in for 6. Roosevelt on top, 14-0, just a few minutes in, and they would pile it on from there. Jackson Brower takes the quarterback draw and finds plenty of green grass on a 22-yard house call. Rough Riders celebrate homecoming with a 40-6 win.
Good for them. Again, Lincoln wins 65-6. O'Gorman 14-7 on that last second touchdown by Ryland Satter. And there's your Harrisburg score, 27-24. All right, to 11 AA, where the top-ranked Pierre Governors had a challenge on their hands with a huge lineman of Brandon Valley. And the Lynx lineman did a number tonight. Jack Thuey with a touchdown run made it 14-0. Now, Pierre would rally down 14-0. That same combination again. Cade Kaiser to Jet Zabel, 35 yards for the score. He backs into the end zone for the touchdown, but they would get no closer. Levi Veskrina had a hat trick in the first half. That's a 30-yard touchdown run. 3 of them he had in the game tonight, and those linemen simply dominated this game. Veskrina scoring again, made it 28-7 at halftime, and your final was 35-14 Brandon Valley. That long winning streak of Pierre is snapped. Let's go to your scoreboard in 11 AA and see Yankton won big on homecoming. T-Area won at Sturgis. Watertown 16-14 over Aberdeen. And look at that, the Colonels of Mitchell knocked off the Spartans of Spearfish. Ranked number 5, first win of the year for the Colonels, 35-28. Coming up, 2 schools within a stone's throw of each other. Well, you got to throw a little farther than you think any of us could, but it's close. That makes for a rivalry game in Hartford. Those highlights are next.
Welcome back to Football Friday, sponsored by Trusted Choice, Dakota Bank, South Dakota Department of Health, and South Dakota State University.
And we're back with the rest of 11-man football from tonight, Zach.
And we start with the top-ranked team in Class 11A. Dell Rapids, the Quarters, taking on the Watchdogs. Beresford looking to remain unbeaten. First quarter, Beresford's quarterback gets picked off by Cole Rusink, and he will take it all the way for the touchdown. They get 2 as well and go up 8-0, and their defense just continues to wreck Beresford's evening. Dell's Quinn Carr with the big sack. That leads to a turnover on downs. Very next play, Cole Rusink getting involved on the offensive side. He hauls in the bomb from Jack Henry, and it was all Dells in this one. They take it 38-14.
We had another big game in Hartford where West Central hosted the team from right up the road. Like I said, a stone's throw. Well, a little further than that. The Mustangs of Tri-Valley, who lost that triple overtime game at Winter to start the year. And our Cooper Seymour was there. Coop, how'd it go?
Yeah, Mark, well, you say, it's a bit more than a stone's throw, but these two schools could not be any closer. So, of course, they want to each win this game more than most games, and tonight they played in Hartford. That's where the Trojans and the Mustangs did battle for area bragging rights. Nothing getting going in this game until the second quarter when Chet Sarda caps off a long drive with a short score here. The Trojans take the lead 8-0, and they'd make a splash on their next drive. Leighton Johnson is going to get out on the bubble screen here, make a grab, cut up a little bit, and he's going to go off to the races. He's going to be forced out just short of the end zone. No worries, though. The Trojans are going to take it from there. Jesse Yost with a nice little waltz into the end zone. West Central leads 14-0. But just before half, the Mustangs respond as Eli McFarland drops back, finds Trey Johnson. He high points this ball, and he's in for 6 here. It's 14-7 Trojans at half, but West Central keeps this one just out of reach. They win 20-6. Mark?
West Central hosts Winter next week.
It's going to be some sore guys after that game tonight. It's always a battle. It was homecoming at Sioux Falls Christian, and my granddaughter was part of the festivities before at halftime, actually. Nice job, Emery. The Chargers with a huge start. First play from scrimmage. Picked off. Cole Snyder, and Cole with a terrific return. Gets him in scoring position. A few plays later, Lincoln Prines finding Braden Whitty for the early lead for Sioux Falls Christian. Looking sharp, and they're all blue unis with the silver helmets tonight. A student section doing jumping jacks for every point. They would be tired after this game tonight. Prines goes to Jake Spronk in the middle of defenders for the touchdown. It was all Sioux Falls Christian. Like I said, the student section's going to be tired. They're going to sleep well tonight. They did jumping jacks 60 times.
Finally, 5th-ranked Lennox taking on a Dakota Valley team that was ranked for most of the year. I think people are kind of sleeping a little bit on Lennox, although they're now finally ranked. Orioles already up 7-0 in the first. Defense will add 7 more. Lucas Bonci with the interception, and it seems like pick sixes are a theme tonight. He will go all the way for the touchdown to make it 14-0. They also have plenty of offense that is flying high this year in Lennox in the second quarter. Boston Katzer, who's probably your favorite player.
He is.
For some reason I can't think of. Great catch by Porterine, and he can play football too. Can the basketball star. 22-0 at halftime, third quarter. More from Katzer. He finds Tate Gertis, who will do the rest on a 13-yard score. Orioles up 30-0. They win 38-6.
Nice job, Boston, buddy. Dell Rapids win 38-14. West Central, that was really a tight game in that second half. Canton wins 30-14.
Can't wait to see them play Winter next week.
Sioux Falls Christian score, and Lennox wins 38-6. As for 11B, Winter wins by 20. Sioux Valley won big tonight. EPJ, hey, Miller Highmore Herald kicked a field goal. And Dual, a 15-0 win. And we also had a bye there. Our feature game of the night is next as 2 undefeated teams collide in hate time. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Football Friday, sponsored by Trusted Choice, Dakota Bank, South Dakota Department of Health, and South Dakota State University.
And welcome back. We are in the 9-man ranks now, and our feature game of the night, Warner at Hamlin.
Yeah, the second-ranked Chargers in 9AA hosting the number 1 Monarchs of Class 9A. You want to talk about fall weather? The fall colors around that field were spectacular tonight. And speaking of spectacular, Hunter Kramer fakes the run, pulls up, and passes to Brody Sauerwein on their opening drive. It's 8-0 Warner after 1. Second quarter, after they recover a Charger fumble, Warner facing a 3rd and long. Kramer takes it a long way, and look at him light up with the smile here. Yeah, that's got to feel pretty good when you go 64 yards. It's 15-0. The Monarchs then got the ball right back after Hamlin fumbles the kickoff, and they do the same thing they did in the first. Kramer to Sauerwein. It was 22-0. They feel bad for this guy. Luke Frazier, he was our cover kid for Hamlin. He's been out all year with injuries. They were hoping he'd get back tonight, just couldn't quite make it. To their credit, the Chargers did come back. Tyson Stevenson tucks and runs for the corner for the touchdown. They got within 22-13 at half, and then neither team scored in the second half. Warner, for the second straight week, knocks off an unbeaten team. Last week, Fulton. This week, Hamlin, 22-13.
How about those Monarchs? The third-ranked Tigers of Howard hosted the Cougars of Viborg-Hurley tonight on homecoming, and they would be happy. Carson Feldhaus sees a hole, and he is gone. 30 yards to the 1-yard line. Tate Hoyer then takes it in at 7-0. Howard goes for the onside kick and gets it. Jackson Remmers gets the pitch. He takes it all the way to the house, and it's 14-0 now in favor of the guys in black and orange. Got to give the stat girls some love. They helped give our photographer the yards on each score. That's fantastic. Tate Hoyer on third down, a 34-yard completion to Luke Kepsel. We've seen that combo all year long. Hoyer later would score on the 1-yard touchdown to make it 21-0, and Howard wins big 47-14. Again, Parkston wins big tonight. There's your Hamlin-Warner score. Howard wins.
Wall big over Harding County Bison.
Yep. Yeah, Wall,
and Elton Lake Benton with the bye.
There we go.
On to 9A, where the third-ranked Canistota Hawks are looking to rebound from last Friday's loss to Hanson with a win over Deubrook. This proved a lot more difficult than might have been advertised. Jace Vamaka with nice patience for the visitors, and he goes up the gut for a 9-yard score. Dolphins up 6-0, looking to play spoiler. Hawks waste a little time answering. Tage Ortman with a nice touch and placement finds Ty Dobler for the touchdown. It's all knotted up at 6 apiece. Here's the play of the game. Watch the poise of Vamaka as he scrambles, goes downfield, and finds Jacob Jornby.
Nice.
Great catch for the touchdown, 30 yards. And they go back in front, 12-6 Deubrook. However, Canistota would come back. They strike again. Here is Ortman with a little flare in the flat to Dobler. He finishes for the score. Great game. Good effort by Deubrook, but Canistota wins 28-20.
All right, again in 9A, Canistota wins, Warner wins, Phillip and Wall victorious. We had a pair of 9-man schools having terrific seasons meet up in Alcester tonight, both starting with an A. So we sent our A-plus reporter Cordell Wright to be there.
Thank you, Mark. And they brought their A game tonight. The Cubs of Alcester-Hudson hosting the Pirates of Avon on homecoming night. Second quarter in, it's a 2-point game. The big running back, Jose Pete Lopez, he rumbles his way through those arm tackles. He extends that lead. Avon tries to answer back, but Passion Birma, he's going to take a big hit on that pitch. That ball goes to the ground. Scoop and score by William Holloway. He's going to take it all the way back, and they extend their lead even further. Halftime, they launched off some shirts, and Avon tried to relaunch their offense in the second half. Birma, though,
picked off.
Jump ball, picked off in the end zone, and in a couple of plays later, we're going to have Mateo Klein-Hodds. He's going to keep it himself. He's going to find a nice big hole up the middle, makes those defenders miss, runs it in for 6. Alcester kept running away, 48-26.
Nice job on those highlights. By the way, your Deubrook Dolphins look good tonight.
Look good.
Onto the scoreboard. Avon losing to Alcester-Hudson. Falkton a big winner tonight, as was DeSmet, and a couple of byes. And speaking of byes, well, it's not time for us to say goodbye. We got one more segment. Some unbeaten teams took the field tonight. We'll see how they did next.
Welcome back to Football Friday, sponsored by Trusted Choice, Dakota Bank, South Dakota Department of Health, and South Dakota State University.
And welcome back to our final segment, starting with Minnesota high school football. The Patriots of Hills Beaver Creek, well, they've made Brian Allen a proud papa all year because his son plays on this team. Back home against Renville County West. Starting things off, it's Bo Bakken for the inside run for the first touchdown. Patriots take the early lead. They also get the 2-point conversion. Now the Jaguars push back this 41-yard completion by Austin Rice and Jason Jansen, and they actually end up scoring on that drive. But back come the Patriots. This is Sawyer Bosch extending that lead with a 5-yard touchdown, and Hills Beaver Creek's going to go on to win this one handily. Your final score 45-14. On to the Minnesota scores. Again, there's your Hills Beaver Creek score. Laverne wins. Dawson Boyd blanked by or at least we're losing at halftime. Canby wins. Jackson County Central wins. That Minneota game is on Saturday. Pipestone victorious by 18. RTR lost to Windham. Murray County Central wins a thriller. Tracy Milroy Ballatin 34-0, and Marshall 68-6.
Over the Iowa side of the border, defending state champion Lions of Central Lyon George Little Rock taking on Unity Christian, trying to keep a perfect record intact. A little tougher than they thought it might be in the opening quarter. Reese Vanderzee to Graham Eben, who had plenty of space, and then gets into the end zone for the touchdown. That ties things at 6, but Unity Christian came into town and we're playing spoiler early on, and we got a little brotherly love here. Dylan Bosma takes the snap, surveys, and throws a dart to Braden Bosma. Guess the family will be pretty happy with their performance tomorrow. That goes for a touchdown. Unity Christian takes a 12-6 lead. Pretty much all Central Lyon from there, though. On 4th and goal from the 17, Vanderzee takes the snap, avoids the sack, rolls and finds Reed Fulkins for the wide open touchdown. As Central Lyon would roll from there, they get the victory 39-12.
And Vanderzee's star wide receiver, that's what he's going to play in college at Iowa. And Eben's going to play running back or defense for the Hawkeyes. The Wildcats of West Lyon also having another typical Jay Roseboom season. He called in the score tonight. I always love talking to Jay. Look at that pick by Carson Hogeveen. A one-hander set up a touchdown to make it 14-0 Wildcats. On to the second quarter now. They would pitch it to Tate Hoff, who's going right. No, let's wait. He goes left. And he would run all the way around the Braves defense to the outside, and he would score. That made it 24-0, one of the runs of the night. And then Carter Vermeer drops back, hits wide open Hoff, and he takes it just down to the end zone. He corrals it for the touchdown after the fumble, and the Wildcats get the big win. Final score 38-8. West Lyon and Central Lyon, George Little Rock, both undefeated at this point, having great years. Boyden Hull, Rock Valley lost to Sioux Center. Lamar's over Sioux City West, and it was MOC Floyd Valley, Western Christian. Galen Catholic knocked off Sibley Ochiden, and Spencer lost to Denison Schlesing. And finally, it's the key to the city game Saturday at the Bob. Now, despite moving up from the NEIA ranks, the Cougars dominated the early years of this series and actually have an 8-2 lead overall. But the Augustana Vikings come into this week's game with a 4-0 record, and they are kind of the clear favorite to win. It's a rivalry game, and records really go out the window. But the new head coach at USF would like to start this series on the right foot.
Yeah, I've heard it more than once about how big of a game this is, and sometimes the old, if you only win one game this year, let's make it the Augie game, and I can understand that, and the alums are certainly fired up about it, primarily because a lot of those alums had a lot of success.
And to have a great venue and environment to play in where people are loud and pride is on the line, everything else, that's what rivalry games are at the highest of levels. So it's a neat experience in their life, and a lot of schools don't get that.
Jerry Oshevsky, the Cougars coming off that narrow 7-0 win over Minot State last Saturday. There's your only touchdown of that game. The Vikings, well, they've been scoring points. They only won 31-27 against Moorhead, but
special teams are great. They've had a couple punt returns and this kick return by Isaiah Huber.
They have been fun to watch. So the Vikings come in as the favorite. However, you never know in a rivalry game.
Of course, we got a busy college Saturday. SDSU, USD with their conference openers. Jack's hosting North Dakota in front of a sellout. Dana J. Coyote's got to go play the Bison. Could be interesting. And we'll even have some highlights as well from Dakota Wesleyan at Mount Marty for Mount Marty's home.
All right, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week.